WDTN, the station that's working for you. This is 2 News Now.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome in to take a look at that. Conditions here in the Miami Valley. Thanks for joining us on 2 News Now for this special series of shows of live coverage of this weekend's winter weather event. I am your host, Alexis Bellamy, on this Sunday, January 25th, covering this weekend weather. Across from me is 2 News anchor Lauren Wood. We're going to be bringing you guys these updates and on all of the live conditions happening here in our area today. But before we really dive into things, I've been sharing, we're doing 2 News a little bit differently this morning. Before we get things started, we're kicking things out with breaking news this afternoon. So listen to this. Before we get into things, a man is now dead after being run over by a snowplow. That's just into our newsroom today. Lauren.
Yeah, unfortunately, this happened on St. Paul Avenue around 11:30 this morning. Officials on the scene have confirmed the man's death. They're not sharing further details at this time. We do have a crew on the scene working to gather more information. Again, this is St. Paul Avenue in Dayton. The crash is currently under investigation.
And we are working to learn more, so make sure to stay with us, and we'll continue to provide those updates to you on air and online, and of course on that 2 News Now app where you can find us. So 2 News Now is continuing with that live coverage, you guys. We started it at 9 o'clock this morning, and we're going to continue with it every hour on the hour with these live updates, keeping you weather aware with this winter wicked. I've been saying the word wicked, actually, to describe this weather, but that's exactly what it is. So we're keeping you guys posted with what is happening. We're going to go now to Storm Team 2 meteorologist Cameron Saliga, who's been one of the many meteorologists we've been talking to this morning, keeping an eye on conditions here in the Miami Valley. And Cameron, the word we've been saying all day is record-breaking.
Yeah, it is a record-breaking day. Obviously, broke the daily snowfall accumulation record here by almost double. There has been some clarification on the snow total at the Dayton International Airport. While it says 17 inches for the depth, the observer said that they've only reported 10.7 inches. So we're almost, we're about 1.5 inches off of a record at the Dayton International Airport. So that got clarified. Dayton temperature right now, 14 degrees. Springboro, 14. 16 in Wright Pat, but the wind chill's right around 0 degrees. So it is definitely not feeling good outside, but it is a great way to stay inside as we go through the daytime. We could still see a few more inches, about 2 to 3 more inches going through the afternoon. That's why we still do have the winter storm warning. We are going to be seeing cold weather tonight, wind chills to about 10 to 20 below 0 as we go through the night tonight and tomorrow night. Outside right now on the Trotwood Goodwill auto auction camera, you can see some of that snow moving through. Not as heavy as it was at one point here today, but it is still snowing. It's a little bit breezy as well with the American flag blowing in the distance. So 10.7 inches at the Dayton International Airport, 10.5 in Englewood. Kettering just got a updated total up to 14 inches. So that 13.3 is actually outdated by about 0.7 inches. Riverside, 12, so a foot in the WDTN studio in Riverside. Beaver Creek, almost at a foot. Downtown Dayton, nearly a foot as well. Trotwood, foot. Miamisburg, foot. 14 in Kettering, and Enon, 9.1 inches, although that one hasn't been updated here recently. Snow forecast, about 12 to 16 inches here in the Dayton area, so that is almost verified here for most of the area. Live Doppler 2 HD. There's some breaks going into the 3 o'clock hour. We'll see some breaks here, but there's another line on the back end of this in parts of Indiana, Illinois, where we are seeing some of the heavier snow push on through. You can see that into southern Illinois. You can't really see it in southern Indiana because the low pressure is blocking that, but we do have some heavier snow there. That's going to be moving in as we head through the next couple of hours. Future track as we go through the afternoon, you can see some of that heavy snow as we get to about 4 or 5 p.m. And then as we get to 7 p.m., that is out of here. We're going to start to dry on out. It's not going to look like it, though, because the wind is going to be blowing the snow all over the place. So road conditions look to be not great even in the morning tomorrow. And then as we go into the afternoon, we'll continue to see some blowing snow. 7-day forecast, well, it's going to turn cold. We're going to see overnight lows 10 below 0. We could tie the overnight low on Monday night going into Tuesday. The record is 9 below all the way back in the 1930s. Right now, we're forecasting at about 9 below. 10 below Wednesday is not going to be a record, but it is about 3 degrees off one. So Arctic air settling in, and it's going to be with us until February.
Now, Cameron, earlier I asked you what the main culprit during this winter weather storm that we need to be aware of, and you said it was snow, but it sounds like eventually at one point all three are going to be the things that we need to work out for, is the cold, the wind, and that snow element.
Yeah, we're getting through the snow right now, and then the cold really sets in. We're going to have wind chills
That'll be the
tonight,
big
about
one.
10 below zero, and then tomorrow night all the way down to 20 below.
Perfect. Thanks, Cameron. We're keeping on tracking this record-breaking winter weather this weekend, but it's not just here, you guys. This is affecting all different parts of the nation. We know around 190 million people, that's more than half of the U.S., you guys, are under those winter weather alerts across 37 states, and that's from anywhere from the Rockies up to New England.
Wow, there have also been just tons and tons of flight cancellations and delays. The total cancellations across the country right now, 11,600. More than 16,000 flights have been delayed at Dayton International Airport. Just about everything is shut down. There are a few flights delayed. Pretty much everything else is canceled. So it's not a great day to be out on the roads. And it's also not a great day if you're trying to get somewhere in the skies, because this is just so widespread. As you saw across the country, people are dealing with this. So stay put. That's going to help the road crews. And hopefully your flight will be able to get rescheduled in a timely fashion.
Yep. For the people who are asking, what do I do? How can I help? What do I need to do? Prepare. Hopefully you have everything you need. And what you can do is just continue to stay at home. That's all. We've been talking to several officials. We've heard from a couple of sheriffs, and everyone is really just saying stay off of the road so the plows and, everyone can do their job and make these roads a little bit safer.
In some cases, that's actually the law right now. We have several counties in a level 3 snow emergency, and that means you are not allowed to be out on the roads unless you are an emergency worker. Clark, Champaign, and Mercer County have all declared that level 3 snow emergency. So in those counties, you should not be on the roads. We spoke with Clark County Sheriff Christopher Clark there an hour or so ago. He was letting us know, they're not out there looking to arrest people, but if you're just out there joyriding, if you're creating dangerous conditions, if you are a problem, then you may get a citation. He said they understand, if you have to be somewhere as an emergency, but they really need you to stay off the roads. Pretty much everybody else is under a level 2. We've got Preble and Warren County under a level 2. Wayne County over in Indiana, they have a travel advisory. Champaign, Greene, Dark, Clinton, Auglaize, Miami County, all level 2 snow emergencies. And then Logan County, that level 1. And we know Governor DeWine declared a state of emergency, and he's directing agencies to provide more support to local jurisdictions. This is a huge event for the state of Ohio, for Montgomery County, for the Miami Valley, with widespread impacts.
Yeah, and we've been talking, Lauren, you broke it down a little bit about what those different levels mean, but let's talk about some of the other ones. We know 3 is about as bad as it gets, but here's a refresher for what each level means before you travel or try to hit the roads. A level 1 means that drivers are asked to use caution when they do get on the roads, if at all. In a level 2, only those who deem it absolutely necessary should be getting behind the wheel, okay? And make sure to contact your employer to see if you should be reporting to work, because what I think a lot of people will find as we continue, it's 3:14 now, as we continue to make our way throughout the day, people will find that I feel like no matter your shift, you may not be coming into work today. So that's something to keep in mind. Finally, the most serious, we just talked about it, a level 3, that means the streets are closed to all non-emergency personnel, and those traveling will actually get in trouble. You guys could potentially face some legal action there. But speaking of the roads, we're looking at it here. Another big question for a lot of residents is, when will my road be cleared? And again, even if it is cleared, if you're in one of those counties under a level 3, you shouldn't be on it. But breaking it down, ODOT is who's responsible for interstates along with U.S. and state routes that are outside of those municipalities. Now, cities and villages are in charge of U.S. and state routes along with local roads inside of their city limits. Now, counties and townships say they are prioritizing local roads. So those are the areas where you can probably start to see some improvement first, if any. And again, that is only if you absolutely need to be getting out on the roads.
And we spoke with the city of Dayton earlier today, and they said they, are prioritizing those main arteries right now. But because the snow is continuing to fall and because the salt does not work when it's this cold, a lot of that work that they're doing is getting covered right back up by snow. So they said it may be Tuesday before you see those secondary streets, those residential side streets actually cleared off enough for people to be able to travel them without problem. You're going to see a lot of that kind of snow banking. We saw earlier today in Springfield, cars getting really hung up at intersections because the plow will go through the main artery and then the snow is off to the side. So if you are on a side street in a car, if you don't have much ground clearance, you're going to get hung up. We saw cars that couldn't even, their tires were no longer even touching the ground because they were just kind of beached on the snow. So that's going to be something that you have to keep in mind. Even when the snow stops falling later today, those roads, it's going to take a while to get everything clear.
And this morning or this afternoon, rather, to talk to us continuously about traffic safety, about some of the things you should or maybe should not be doing if you are someone who is getting on the roads today, is Ohio Department of Public Safety. Judy Converse is joining us with a little bit more of those tips on how to stay safe if that's a big if you are getting on the roads. Judy, if that's right.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me this afternoon.
We're so happy to have you. We want people to stay safe. If, again, the big stressor here is if you are able to be out on the roads. And if you are, what do you need to be doing?
Absolutely. If you're going to be traveling out there, first and foremost, slow down. A lot of our crashes that are in winter weather conditions are due to people just going too fast. So tip number one is just go very slow. There's no universal like 10 below the speed limit, 15 below the speed limit. It just depends on the conditions out there. And tip number two is just to put more space between your vehicle and the vehicles around you. If the vehicle in front of you has to stop quickly, has to slow down really quickly, or conditions change, roads may be covered with a little bit more snow in some areas than others, you want to make sure you have time and distance between you and that vehicle in front of you. We know that's kind of the number two cause for crashes in wintry conditions, is number one, speed, and number two, following too closely.
What is the best way to determine when and if it's safe to go out after all this?
I would say, wait until the storm has passed, and then give it some time. Keep monitoring those local alerts, right? Your local sheriff's offices will determine whether you're a level 1, 2, or 3 snow emergency. So pay attention to those local alerts. When a county is under a snow emergency, the idea is, to allow just the necessary crews out there to clear the roads. Our road crews are doing their best to clear their roads, and drivers have to do their part for safety as well. And sometimes that just means staying in and staying put.
Right. Judy, will you talk to us a little bit about the statistics? What have we seen here in Montgomery County as far as some of those crashes are concerned?
Yeah, I'm going to pull this up here on my computer. So I just looked up some crash stats for Montgomery County for the past few winters.
Yeah.
Last winter in Montgomery County, there was 426 crashes just in snow, ice, or slush-covered roads. And then I looked back at data going all the way back to 2020. There's been 8 fatalities, right? 8 people killed in snow, ice, or slush conditions since 2020. We see these crashes as incidents that can be prevented, right? Mm-hmm. All crashes can be prevented. But especially in conditions like this, the best way to prevent a crash and keep yourself safe, honestly, is just to stay put.
Let's talk about safety around snow plows. I know we hear all the time from ODOT, give the plow plenty of room, but we're also seeing plows in private parking lots and doing driveways and things like that. We just had someone killed by a snow plow here in the city of Dayton. We don't have a lot of information yet about what that scenario was, but in general, aside from the basic information, like give them plenty of room to do their work if you're on the roads, what do you need to keep in mind being around snow plows?
Yeah, extra space around those snow plows. Don't try and pass a snow plow. I think that's kind of a common mistake, is where people just want to, move out of the way as much as possible and pass them. That could put yourself more at risk. That could put you in even more danger by passing a snow plow, because some of the snow and the debris and things that are being kicked up by that plow can impact your vehicle and can fly onto your windshield and impact your visibility. So stay far behind the snowplow as much as possible. I would say at least 100 feet, and slow down, right? Give them space to work. Don't try and pass right next to them. If a plow is, going very slow, and you feel it's safe to pass, give them at least a lane, separation of distance to try and go around a plow. But just remember those plows, our plow drivers are working really hard, to make the roads safe and make the roads safe and passable for everybody. And just give them some time and space, right? It may slow you down a couple minutes. I would say it's better to arrive late than not at all.
How about for pedestrians? If somebody's out there on foot, or even what should you talk to your kids about if they're out playing?
Absolutely. Make yourself visible. Wear bright colors. Make sure, another driver, a plow driver, anybody can see you. Like I said, wear bright colors, bright colored jacket, hats. Just make sure you're visible. When you're a pedestrian walking on the roads, you should be walking against traffic so you can see the traffic coming on you. If it's the opposite rule for bicyclists. Bicyclists should ride with traffic. Pedestrians should walk against traffic so they can see what's coming at them, so they can move out of the way if necessary. I definitely wouldn't, want to walk near a snowplow, especially when they're trying to clear roads in these conditions. So give them some space, give them some distance. Try to move out of the side of the road. Try to move out of the area where they're working. Let them work and let them pass, and then keep going. But the side of the road and things like that, especially for children, it's no place to play.
Good safety tips and good reminders there, Judy. Thank you so much for coming on again with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, we are going to switch gears, and we're actually have some breaking news directly into our newsroom that affects most of our viewers here in the Miami Valley, and it's from Kroger, you guys. Listen to this. They have actually announced that they are trying to keep people safe, and by doing that, they are deciding to close several stores. Listen to this. Kroger is closing their stores in northern Kentucky, in the greater Cincinnati, and the Dayton areas at 6 o'clock tonight. That is just into our newsroom this afternoon, that Kroger is going to be closing early, 6 o'clock in those locations. Again, that's northern Kentucky, greater Cincy, and the Dayton areas at 6 o'clock. Lauren, I definitely hope people have been doing their preparations.
I know when I was at the store yesterday, it looked like everybody, there were a lot of people out yesterday morning, kind of before everything got started. So I think hopefully everybody can just, hunker down. Yeah. We know that it's going to be ending soon, and then that'll give the plow drivers enough time to get out there and get everything taken care of. Again, like Karen's been mentioning, we don't have that heavy wet snow. We don't have that ice. So hopefully power's going to stay on for people. We really haven't had that issue to deal with. So staying home should be doable for most folks.
And we're going to get another look at some of the other parts of the Miami Valley and even a little outside of it. Right now, we're about to be joined by 2 News reporter Evan Bales. He's actually in the Cincy, Kentucky area, and he's going to give us a look at what is going on where he is. He'll be joining us in just a couple of minutes. Lauren, we've been talking about some of these different places that are, really dealing with inches and inches. And we've seen what things are like here, but we cannot wait to see Evan. So let's take a look at him now. There he is. Evan, you're outside.
Yes. So right now I'm trying to find y'all the best vantage point here in the complex that I live in. I live about 10 to 15 minutes south of Cincinnati, but
okay.
Safe to say we have about 7 inches out here right now, and it is still coming down, and it is showing no signs of slowing down. I'll give y'all a look of what.
Okay. All righty. Look at this. Evan, how have you guys still have power there? Is this snow affecting you guys at home?
Oh, for sure. But thankfully our complex has not lost power yet.
All right.
I have heard some friends of my girlfriend who said that they have lost their power in other parts of Kentucky, specifically if you all know in the like southern Kenton County, southern Campbell County areas, which is about 30 minutes south of Cincinnati. But we're seeing a lot of the issues that you all talked about with some of those secondary and more local streets not getting plowed. Our street's only been through once, and it has filled up with another 3 inches since that plow first came in.
All right, I guess it's safe to say you don't have any plans today. I hope you are definitely staying inside and staying safe. Thank you so much for showing us your look at home. You're not trying to brave this today, are you?
No, absolutely not.
Perfect. Good. Stay at home, and we hopefully will see you tomorrow, Evan. Thanks so much for showing us a look there. All right, bringing things back closer to home now. Storm Team 2 meteorologist Cameron Saligo was outside earlier. We decided to go ahead and bring him back in so he can give us a look at that forecast, and I'm sure he's happy about that. We've been talking record-breaking snow, wind, all of the things. So, Cameron, we're making our way steadily. A few hours left of this is easy to say?
Yeah, there's still about 4 or so hours left of this, and then we're going to be drying
more
out.
than a
But
few.
as we look outside on the Dunkin' Oil Company camera, it's still snowing there. It's not heavy. That's the good news as we go into this hour. But we are going to see some return of heavier snow as we go into the nighttime. Outside right now, it's a little bit on the breezy side here and there, and not much snow there on the Trotwood Goodwill Auto Auction camera. At times, though, the American flag is really blowing there. Right now, not too bad as we go into the daytime. Now, as we look at the Goodwill Auto Auction camera, that one's actually down here at this moment. Temperatures at the moment, 14 in Dayton, 16 in Fairborn, 15 in Springfield, 14 Minster, 13 in Union City, and it feels like it's right around 0 degrees. And we actually do have, for the most part, a good break in snow as we go into the 3 o'clock hour. You see some areas like Troy, Urbana, Springfield, near Bellefountain, Xenia, Eaton, seeing some light snow here at the moment. There's some heavier snow just off to the west, though, and we're going to see the low chances early in the week of some chances of snow, but for the most part, the bulk of the snow is coming here today, and then we're going to see the chances of blowing snow as we go into the daytime tomorrow and even into your Tuesday. Wind chill is going to be about 10 to 20 below zero, so you want to have the multiple layers handy as we go into the work week. So we're starting off with the snow right now, and then the cold temperatures. We'll even have overnight lows about 10 below zero at times this week.
All righty. Thank you so much for that, Cameron. You've been great at giving us exactly what we need to know as we make our way through this winter weather system this weekend. But before we go for this hit today at 3 o'clock, we're going to show you guys another look at downtown. We've been monitoring different parts of the Miami Valley throughout the day, and we're going to show you what things have looked like there and see if there's any change. Well, we know there is at the way it's been coming down. 2 News anchor Caleb Michael is going to join us and give us a look at what he is seeing downtown. We're going to bring him up in just a few minutes. Remember, Lauren, when he said he actually saw someone running out there in shorts.
I know, and I think you even ventured out onto the road. Perhaps did you? You said that things were pretty rough around downtown Dayton.
Oh no! Caleb just looked at the road.
Oh, Caleb looked at the roads.
He's not that brave.
Looked at the roads. Gotcha.
I do have some good news. Things in my neck of the woods in downtown. I live near Riverscape Metro. They've been able to clear out the sidewalk so you can see somewhat of where you're going. And I told you guys earlier today that this is normally a 2-lane, one-way street. The 2 lanes are there. You can see the little snow buildup in the middle where the plows came through. Most folks that I've seen driving are still going along that farther lane. It appears to be a plow coming down the street. I don't know if it'll be here.
I'm impressed we can see pavement. That's the first pavement I've seen
an
today, I think. Wow.
Yeah, but we're also starting to get a full realization of just how much snow we got when you're standing on the pavement, basically on, an inch or so of snow, and then next to you is showing how much we got. So, Caleb's been inside today. I will not be venturing out. It's a little too cold out here for me.
No, not even for a quick jog or a run?
No, I told you, there was a man in shorts earlier today that I saw. The one that really made me realize was there was a woman walking her dog, but it was a smaller dog, and all you could see was the dog's little ears.
No way.
Yeah.
Are
so
many
I
people
said,
venturing
good
out?
for them. From what I can tell, yes and no. I know someone that walked to a friend's house that was a couple of blocks away. I saw a couple people in the lobby that just went out a few minutes ago, but I would say, generally speaking, no, most people are staying inside.
Does it feel like freezing or like below freezing when you're outside right now? Does it feel like what the temperatures?
I have this theory. I think I've shared it with Lauren before. I think anything under 15 is just cold. I don't really feel the difference. It just hurts. So, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
Right.
We'll probably take a page out of Caleb's book and stay inside today. Perfect, Caleb. Thanks for coming on again and showing us the difference.
Thanks, guys. Be safe.
Alrighty, so that does it for us. It's 3:30. We're going to take another short break. We're going to be back here at 4:05 with another look at conditions. You guys bringing you the latest on this record-breaking winter storm. Don't go away. Me and Lauren will see you at 4:05.